welcome you back to BLACKSITE. Tonight we're going to talk about the murder of Robert Brooks. Finally shows everybody the systematic racism of New York State prisons. First, I would like for you to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, hit that notification button, but also comment on this video. This video that we saw over the weekend, released by Lieutenant James, Attorney General of New York State, shows you how dangerous the New York prison system is. The New York correctional officers have become a gang by themselves. Anybody who knows anything about the system, they know that Attica, Clinton, Elmira, Sing Sing, Marcy, Mohawk, all have these hit squads, and they go around beating the hell out of prisoners like Robert Brooks, who we saw being lynched on camera. But these clowns, and this is why these cameras are so important, by God's grace, they tried to turn them off, but they had a 30-minute window to watch actually what they were doing. They were so comfortable doing this in this infirmary that this is something they would do every day of the week whenever they felt like it. And you saw the sergeant with his long legs and his boot kick this man who couldn't, I repeat, couldn't defend himself at all. This was a murder on video. And you know these clowns actually went home, kissed their children, kissed their wives, enjoyed dinner, and went to bed. They didn't care. Kathy Hochul said they have been fired, but they have not been fired. It's an administrative process that they have to go through. Yes, they cannot come to work, but they haven't even been arrested yet. Can you imagine any criminal on the street doing this on a video? They would arrest him immediately. He would be indicted immediately and would have no bail. But these clowns is still walking the streets of America after we saw them murder Robert Brooks. There's an article by New York Times just released that 3 of these officers had lawsuits filed against them. One man was disfigured. The other man is in a wheelchair. But let me tell you something. This is not the only prison. All the other prisons are just the same. Many people think, well, since we're up north, that the prisons are much more lax. You have to remember, most prisons are put in small countryside type towns. When you look at New York State, you see New York City at one end. I would consider it at the bottom. You see Buffalo, which is near the Canadian border. You have Rochester, Syracuse. These are the big cities. But in between all that is countryside, small towns, small cities, and these are where the prisons are located. And these savages are where they are employed at. They get these clowns to come to work every night and basically so-called protect the public from these criminals, but they are the real criminals. And they have been covering up their crimes ever since the New York prison system came into effect. This is systematic. We all know it. It was just caught on body cam footage. Can you imagine how many black men have died in prisons all across this country? And there was no body cam footage. They said it was suicide. They said he was in a fight. Or they made up the perfect excuse to where they could get off. But to see this lynching on body cam footage is extremely shocking, but we should not be surprised because this is the prison system. It's not really there to rehabilitate, it's there to house. And when you house somebody and you don't give them the education, you don't teach them a skill, you don't do anything that's going to make them better so they don't come back. In these clowns that you saw, these 14 that have been put on administrative leave, to me, yes, they will be fired in the future. But one thing about that is a lot more in those prisons. What about the warden? Didn't he know how his officers were acting? She replaced the superintendent of Marcy. But a lot of these wardens are scared of the guards because they possibly have to live in the same community. And this is ridiculous that nobody, and this is a controlled atmosphere, that nobody, not even the nurse who was also put on administrative leave before they get fired, said nothing as this man is being beat to death. You know, they said if you see something, say something. Well, they said nothing. They let the crime go on. And they would have got away with the crime. They would have made up an excuse that somehow he killed himself. And the nurse would have backed these officers up because that nurse did not report those police officers beating Robert Brooks. This is sad to watch, but this is America. You saw it with George Floyd. You saw it with Rodney King. When you see these type of videos, they are shocking. But you have to understand, it's not what you see. You saw this video. It's what you haven't saw over the 100 years since the prison system was founded and developed. This is what they have been doing. And nobody, truly nobody, has ever really been held accountable. Now the federal government said they're going to get involved in it. But they're just doing it to calm down the people. This is the system, the one we have been dealing with in each of the prison systems. Now they'll calm down for the next year or so until this investigation goes, but everything will go back to the way it was. It didn't stop after Attica, didn't stop after other prison riots, and it probably won't stop after Marcy. I would love to hear your comments in the comment section. I want to thank you for listening to BLACKSITE. Hope you subscribe to this channel. Smash that like button, but also share this video.